What if Andhra Pradesh become an independent country? The Republic of Andhra Pradesh area is 162,970 square kilometers, making it the 92nd largest country in the world ahead of Bangladesh and after Tunisia. Number of people in this country would be 49.5 million. It's making 31st most populated country after Sudan. Economy of this country would be $170 billion. It is the 58th largest economy ahead of Kuwait but behind Ukraine. While GDP per capita is $2,982, it's higher than India average, and it's making 137th richest country in the world just behind Uzbekistan. Visakhapatnam is the most populated city in this country with 1.72 million people, and followed by Vijayawada with 1.47 million people, Guntur with 670,000 people, and Nellore with 558,000 people. But the capital of this country would be Amravati, so the country official language would be Telugu, and also most spoken language with 49.5 million speakers, and 90% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in entire world. And finally, India will lose 4.96% of its land area, 4.10% of its population, and 5.70% of its GDP. What if Arunachal Pradesh become a single independent country? The Republic of Arunachal Pradesh area is 83,743 square kilometers, making it the 114th largest country in the world ahead of United Arab Emirates and after Austria. Number of people in this country would be 1.38 million. It's making 151st most populated country ahead of Estonia and after Equatorial Guinea. And this country density is 17 per square kilometers. It's 30 times lower than India average, and it's making 174th most densely populated country ahead of South Sudan but behind Republic of the Congo. Economy of this country would be $4.4 billion. It is the 156th largest economy after Sierra Leone. While GDP per capita is $2,741, it's almost equal to India average, and it's making 140th richest country in the world just behind Cambodia. Itanagar is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with over 60,000 people, and followed by Naharlagun with 36,000 people, Pasighat with 24,000 people, and Along with over 20,000 people. Nishi is the most spoken language in this country with 20.74% of its population, and followed by Adi and Galing with 17.35%, Nepali with 6.89%, Tagam with 4.54%, Bhotia with 4.51%, and other language speakers with 32.78%, and finally India will lose 2.55% of its land area, 0.11% of its population, and 0.130% of its GDP. What if Assam become an independent country? The Republic of Assam area would be 78,438 square kilometers, making it the 116th largest country in the world ahead of Panama and after Czech Republic. Number of people in this country would be 31.1 million. It's making 49th most populated country after Saudi Arabia. Economy of this country would be $75 billion. It is the 84th largest economy ahead of Slovenia and after Ghana. While GDP per capita would be $1,634, it's lower than India average, and it's making 157th richest country in the world just behind Guinea. Guwahati is the most populated city in this country with 962,000 people, and followed by Silchar with 230,000 people, Dibrugarh with 155,000 people, and Jorhat with 153,000 people. But the capital of this country would be Dispur. The country official language would be definitely Assamese, and also most spoken language with 31.1 million speakers, and 61% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be third highest percentage of Hinduism people living country after India and Nepal. And finally, United India will lose 2.38% of its land area, 2.46% of its population, and 0.62% of its GDP. What if Bihar become an independent country? The Republic of Bihar total area would be 94,163 square kilometers. It's smaller than countries like Iceland, North Korea and Nepal, and it's making 108th largest country in the world ahead of Hungary but behind South Korea. At the same time, this country have a massive population with over 130 million. It's higher than Canada, Australia and Kazakhstan combined, and it's making 10th most populated country ahead of Mexico and behind Russia. Also, this country become a most populated landlocked country in entire world, and this country density is 1,388 per square kilometers. It would be 7th most densely populated country in the world just behind Vatican City. Economy of this country would be $110 billion. It's lower than Qatar, and it's making 68th largest economy ahead of Oman and after Kenya. While GDP per capita would be only $719, it's 2 times lower than India average, and it's making 12th poorest country in the world after Dr. Congo. Also, this country become a 3rd poorest country in Asia just behind Yemen and Afghanistan. Then Hinduism is the most followed religion in this country with 106 million followers, and followed by Islam with 23 million followers. At the same time, India will lose 3% of its land area, 9.1% of its population, and 2.97% of its GDP. Since Bihar is a very backward state, it will be huge disadvantage for Bihar if it will become a separate country. What if Chhattisgarh become an independent country? The Republic of Chhattisgarh area is 135,192 square kilometers, making it the 95th largest country in the world ahead of Greece and after Tajikistan. Number of people in this country would be 29.4 million. It's making 50th most populated country after Madagascar. Economy of this country would be $66 billion. It's lower than Slovenia, and it's making 87th largest economy ahead of Myanmar and after Dr. Congo. While GDP per capita is $1,877, it's lower than India average, and it's making 154th richest country in the world just behind Laos. Raipur is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 1.12 million people, and followed by Bhilai with 1.06 million people, Bilaspur with 453,000 people, and Korba with 365,000 people. The country official language would be definitely Hindi language, and also most spoken language with 29.4 million speakers, and 93% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in entire world, and finally present day India will lose 4.11% of its land area, 2.11% of its population, and 2.98% of its GDP. What if Goa become an independent country? The Republic of Goa area is 3,702 square kilometers, making it the 167th largest country in the world ahead of Samoa and after Cape Verde. Number of people in this country would be 1.45 million. It's making 151st most populated country ahead of Estonia and after Equatorial Guinea. And this country GDP is over $12 billion. It's lower than Kyrgyzstan and it's making 144th largest economy after Namibia. While GDP per capita is $6,888, it's 3 times higher than India average, and it's making 100th richest country in the world after Tuvalu. Also this country become a second richest country in South Asia just behind Maldives. Mormugao is the most populated city in this country with 97,500 people, and followed by Margao with 88,000 people, Panji with 72,000 people, and Mapusa with 41,000 people. But the capital of this country, Panji, the country official language would be Konkani with 965,000 speakers, then followed by Marathi with 159,000 speakers, and Hindi with 126,000 speakers, and the country biggest religion is Hinduism with 66.08% of people, and followed by Christianity with 25.1% of people, and Islam with 8.33% of people, and Goa is the richest state of India and attracts lot of the foreign tourists. So such separation of Goa as a separate country would be a great loss for India. What if Gujarat become an independent country? The Republic of Gujarat area is 196,024 square kilometers, making it the 87th largest country in the world ahead of Syria but behind Senegal. Population of this country would be 60.4 million. It's lower than United Kingdom and it's making 25th most populated country after Tanzania. Economy of this country would be $330 billion. It's making 46th largest economy ahead of Finland but behind Czech Republic. While GDP per capita is $3,760, it's higher than India average and it's making 132nd richest country in the world just behind Sri Lanka. Official language of this country would be Gujarati and also most spoken language with around 56 million speakers, and Ahmedabad is the most populated city in this country with 6.35 million people, then followed by Surat with 4.59 million people, Vadodara with 1.82 million people, and Rajkot with 1.39 million people. But the capital of this country would be Gandhinagar, and this country become a second largest Hinduism country after India with over 63 million peoples. Also this country become a highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in the world with 88% of Hinduism people. This separation will be huge lose for India. India will lose for a culturally diverse state with rich economic standing. Overall India will lose 5.9% of its land area, 5% of its population, and 7.5% of its GDP. What if Haryana become an independent country? The Republic of Haryana area is 44,212 square kilometers, making it the 130th largest country in the world ahead of Denmark and after Estonia. Population of this country would be 25.3 million. It's making 57th most populated country ahead of Syria and after North Korea, and this country density is 574 per square kilometers. It's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 13th most densely populated country in the world after Nauru. Economy of this country is $140 billion. It is the 62nd largest economy ahead of Dominican Republic but behind Slovakia. While GDP per capita would be $4,004, it's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 130th richest country in the world just behind Venezuela. Faridabad is the most populated city in this country with 1.41 million people, and followed by Gurgaon with 902,000 people, Panipat with 444,000 people, Yamunanagar with 383,000 people, and 87% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in entire world. And finally India will lose 1.34% of its land area, 2.11% of its population, and 2.58% of its GDP. What if Himachal Pradesh become a single independent country? The Republic of Himachal Pradesh area is 55,673 square kilometers, making it the 125th largest country in the world ahead of Bosnia and Herzegovina and after Croatia. Number of people in this country would be 6.86 million. It's making 106th most populated country ahead of Nicaragua and after Turkmenistan. Economy of this country would be $27 billion. It's lower than whole Georgia and it's making 112th largest economy after Trinidad and Tobago. While GDP per capita is $3,123, it's higher than India average, and it's making 100 136th richest country in the world just behind Vanuatu. Shimla is the capital of this country and also most populated city with 172,000 people, and followed by Solan with over 40,000 people, Dharamshala with 31,000 people, and Badi with over 30,000 people. The country official language would be definitely Hindi language, and also most spoken language with 4.5 million speakers, and 95% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in entire world. And finally India will lose 1.7% of its land area, 0.54% of its population, and 0.74% of its GDP. What if Jharkhand become an independent country? The Republic of Jharkhand area is 79,716 square kilometers, making it the 115th largest country in the world ahead of Czech Republic and after United Arab Emirates. Number of people in this country would be 32.9 million. It's making 47th most populated country in the world after Ghana. Economy of this country would be $55 billion. It is the 89th largest economy ahead of Cameroon but behind Uganda. While GDP per capita would be $1,291, it's 2 times lower than India average, and it's making 163rd richest country in the world just behind Ethiopia. Jamshedpur is the most populated city in this country would be 1.33 million people, then followed by Dhanbad with 1.19 million people, and Ranchi with 1.12 million people. Also its capital of this country, and the country largest language is Hindi with 20.44 million speakers, and followed by Magahi with 12.7 million people, Khorta with over 8 million speakers, and Santali with 2.75 million speakers, and 67% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be third highest percentage of Hinduism people living country after India and Nepal. And finally United India will lose 2.42% of its land area, 2.72% of its population, and 1.461% of its GDP. What if Karnataka become an independent country? The Republic of Karnataka area is 191,791 square kilometers, making it the 87th largest country in the world ahead of Syria and after Senegal. Population of this country would be 61.1 million. It is the 25th most populated country ahead of Italy but behind Tanzania, and the country GDP would be $290 billion. It is the 49th largest economy after Kazakhstan, while GDP per capita would be $4,082. It's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 128th richest country in the world just behind Philippines. The country capital is Bangalore, and also most populated city with 8.52 million people, and followed by Mysore with 990,000 people, Hubli Dharwad with 943,000 people, Mangalore with 623,000 people, and Belgaum with 610,000 people. So the country official language would be definitely Kannada, and also most spoken language with 61.1 million speakers, and 84% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in the world. And finally India will lose 5.83% of its land area, 5.05% of its population, and 7.54% of its GDP. What if Kerala become an independent country? The Republic of Kerala area is 38,863 square kilometers, making it the 133rd largest country in the world ahead of Bhutan and after Switzerland. Population of this country would be 34.6 million. It is the 42nd most populated country ahead of Malaysia and after Angola, and this country density is 890 per square kilometers. It's 5 times higher than India average, and it's making 8th most densely populated country in the world just behind Bangladesh, and the country GDP is $130 billion. It is the 62nd largest economy ahead of Dominican Republic but behind Slovakia, while GDP per capita would be $3,480. It's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 133rd richest country in the world just behind Egypt. Thiruvananthapuram is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 969,000 people, and followed by Kochi with 602,000 people, Kozhikode with 432,000 people, Kollam with 349,000 people, and Thrissur with 316,000 people, and the country official language would be definitely Malayalam language, and also most spoken language with 33.7 million speakers, and this separation will be huge lose for India. Kerala is one of the prosperous state of India, and it will be a big setback for India when such Kerala secedes from India, and overall India will lose 1.18% of its land area, 2.4% of its population, and 3.78% of its GDP. What if Madhya Pradesh become a single independent country? The Republic of Madhya Pradesh area is 308,252 square kilometers, making it the 71st largest country in the world ahead of Italy and after Oman. Population of this country would be 72.6 million. It is the 20th most populated country after Germany. Also this country become a second most populated landlocked country in the world after Ethiopia. The country GDP would be $160 billion. It is the 59th largest economy ahead of Morocco and after Kuwait. While GDP per capita is $1,757, it's lower than India average, and it's making 156th richest country in the world just behind Senegal. Indore is the most populated city in this country with 2.17 million people, and followed by Bhopal with 1.88 million people, Jabalpur with 1.26 million people, and Gwalior with 1.1 million people. But the capital of this country would be Bhopal, and the country official language would be definitely Hindi language, and also most spoken language with 72.6 million speakers, and 90.9% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in entire world. And finally India will lose 0.21% of its land area, 1.08% of its population, and 0.18% of its GDP. What if the Maharashtra become an independent country? So firstly, this country will have the land area of over 307,713 square kilometers, making it the 71st largest country in the world ahead of Italy and after Oman. At the same time, this country have a massive population with over 112 million. It's 2 times lower than Japan, and it's making 13th most populated country after Philippines. And the economy of this country is over $500 billion. It is the 32nd largest economy ahead of Malaysia and after Norway. While GDP per capita would be $3,514, it's higher than India average, and it's making 133rd richest country in the world just behind Egypt. Mumbai is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 18.3 million people, and followed by Pune with over 5 million people, Nagpur with 2.49 million people, and Nashik with 1.56 million people. Official language of this country would be Marathi, and also most spoken language with 88.9 million speakers, followed by Hindi with 13.5 million speakers, and Urdu with 8.5 million speakers. And this country become a second most Hinduism country after India with over 100 million of Hinduism peoples. This separation will be huge loss for India. Economy of Maharashtra will take a direct hit, as the new army and navy will be needed to be built, and migration to Mumbai will slow down, and cities of Maharashtra will be more secure, and India will lose its largest economy and industrially rich state. Overall, India will lose 8.9% of its land area, 9.3% of its population, and 13.1% of its GDP. What if Manipur become an independent country? The Republic of Manipur land area is 22,327 square kilometers, making it the 148th largest country in the world ahead of Israel and after Belize. Number of people in this country would be 2.85 million. It's making 138th most populated country ahead of Jamaica and after Qatar. And this country density is 130 per square kilometers. It's 5 times lower than India average, and it's making 72nd most densely populated country after Czech Republic. The country GDP is $6.2 billion. It is the 152nd largest economy ahead of Fiji and after South Sudan. While GDP per capita would be $1,523, it's 2 times lower than India average, and it's making 159th richest country in the world just behind Pakistan. Imphal is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 418,000 people, and followed by Tubal with 45,000 people, Kakching with 32,000 people, Ukhrul with 27,000 people, and Maing Imphal with 24,000 people. And finally, United India will lose 0.68% of its land area, 0.24% of its population, and 0.149% of its GDP. What if Meghalaya become an independent country? The Republic of Meghalaya land area is 22,429 square kilometers, making it the 148th largest country in the world ahead of Israel and after Belize. Number of people in this country would be 2.96 million. It is the 136th most populated country ahead of Lithuania and after Namibia. And this country density is 130 per square kilometers. It's 5 times lower than India average, and it's making 72nd most densely populated country after Czech Republic. Economy of this country is $5.5 billion. It is the 153rd largest economy ahead of Eswatini and after Fiji. While GDP per capita is $1,680, it's 2 times lower than India average, and it's making 156th richest country in the world just behind Senegal. Shillong is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 354,000 people, and followed by Tura with 75,000 people, Normstone with 29,000 people, Jui with 28,000 people, and Williamgar with 25,000 people. And finally, United India will lose 0.68% of its land area, 0.25% of its population, and 0.18% of its GDP. What if Mizoram become an independent country? The Republic of Mizoram land area is 21,081 square kilometers, making it the 149th largest country in the world ahead of El Salvador and after Israel. Population of this country would be 1.25 million. It is the 155th most populated country ahead of Eswatini and after Mauritius, and this country density is 59 per square kilometers. It's 12 times lower than India average, and it's making 129th most densely populated country after Panama. Economy of this country is $4.2 billion. It is the 159th largest economy ahead of Andorra and after Suriname. While GDP per capita would be $3,022, it's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 137th richest country in the world just behind Uzbekistan. Aizawl is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 293,000 people, and followed by Langley with 57,000 people, Champhai with 33,000 people, Saiha with 25,000 people, Kolosab with 24,000 people, Sechip with 21,000 people, and Longli with 20,000 people. And finally, India will lose 0.64% of its land area, 0.087% of its population, and 0.11% of its GDP. What if Nagaland become a single independent country? The Republic of Nagaland area is 16,579 square kilometers, making it the 154th largest country in the world ahead of East Timor and after Eswatini. Population of this country would be 1.97 million. It's making 146th most populated country ahead of Latvia and after Slovenia. And the country GDP is $4.4 billion. It is the 156th largest economy after Sierra Leone. While GDP per capita would be $2,020, it's lower than India average, and it's making 153rd richest country in the world just behind Zimbabwe. Dimapur is the most populated city in this country with 122,000 people, and followed by Kohima with over 100,000 people, Tumsam with 37,000 people, Mokokchung with 36,000 people, Wokha with 35,000 people, Mon with 26,000 people, Chumukedima with 25,000 people, and Zunhabatu with 23,000 people. But the capital of this country would be Kohima. Nagamese Creole is the most widely spoken language in this country with 1.8 million speakers, but the country official language would be English, and 87.9% of people in this country followed Christianity. It would be third highest percentage of Christianity people living country in Asia after Armenia and East Timor. At the same time, India will lose 0.5% of its land area, 0.14% of its population, and 0.1% of its GDP. What if Orissa become an independent country? The Republic of Orissa area is 155,707 square kilometers, making it the 92nd largest country in the world ahead of Bangladesh and after Tunisia. Number of people in this country would be 41.9 million. It is the 36th most populated country after Iraq. Economy of this country would be over $100 billion. It's lower than whole Ukraine, and it's making 72nd largest economy ahead of Costa Rica and after Venezuela. While GDP per capita would be $1,998, it's lower than India average, and it's making 153rd richest country in the world just behind Zimbabwe. Bhubaneswar is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 885,000 people, and followed by Cuttack with 663,000 people, Rourkela with 552,000 people, and Brahmapur with 356,000 people, and the country official language would be definitely Odia language, and also most spoken language with 41.9 million speakers, and 93% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in entire world. At the same time, India will lose 4.87% of its land area, 3.47% of its population, and 10.57% of its GDP. What if Indian state of Punjab was a single country? This new country combined land area would be 50,362 square kilometers, making it the 127th largest country in the world ahead of Slovakia and after Costa Rica. Number of people in this country would be 27.7 million. It is the 54th most populated country ahead of Australia and after Venezuela, and this country density is 550 per square kilometers. It's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 14th most densely populated country ahead of Rwanda and after San Marino. Also, this country become a third most densely populated landlocked country after San Marino and Vatican City, and the country GDP would be $80 billion. It is the 81st largest economy after Serbia, while GDP per capita $2,564. It's almost equal to and lower than India average, and it's making 143rd richest country just behind Bangladesh. Ludhiana is the most populated city in this country with 1.61 million people, and followed by Amritsar with 1.18 million people, and Jalandhar with 874,000 people. The country largest religion is Sikhism with 58% of its Sikhism people. Also, it's over 30 million of its Sikhism people. What if Rajasthan become an independent country? The Republic of Rajasthan area is 342,239 square kilometers. It's bigger than UK, and it's making 64th largest country in the world ahead of Republic of the Congo and after Germany. Population of this country would be 68.5 million. It is the 21st most populated country ahead of United Kingdom but behind France. Also, this country become a second most populated landlocked country just behind Ethiopia, and the GDP of this country would be $190 billion. It's making 57th largest economy after Nigeria, while GDP per capita would be $2,044. It's lower than India average, and it's making 153rd richest country in the world just behind Zimbabwe. Jaipur is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 3.04 million people, and followed by Jodhpur with 1.13 million people, Kota with over 1 million people, and Bikaner with 644,000 people, and 88.5% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in entire world. This unification will be huge impact on India. India will lose its largest state. Overall, India will lose 10.5% of its land area, 5.72% of its population, and 5.02% of its GDP. What if Sikkim become an independent country? The Republic of Sikkim area is 7,096 square kilometers, making it the 163rd largest country in the world ahead of Palestine but behind Cyprus. Population of this country would be 610,577 people. It's making 166th most populated country ahead of Malta and after Suriname, and the country GDP is around $6 billion, which is lower than countries like Mauritius, North Macedonia and Kyrgyzstan, and it's making 152nd largest economy after South Sudan. while GDP per capita is $7,553. It's over 3 times higher than India average, and it's making 94th richest country in the world after Suriname. Also, this country become a second richest country in South Asia just behind Maldives. Gangtok is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 220,000 people, and followed by Namche with 146,000 people, Gyalching with 72,000 people, Soreng with 65,000 people, Pakyong with 64,000 people, and Mangan with 43,000 people, and the country official language would be Nepali, and also most spoken language with 431,000 speakers, and the country biggest religion is Hinduism with 57.76% of people, and followed by Buddhism with 27.39% of people, and Christianity with 9.91% of people, and finally India will lose 0.22% of its land area, 0.048% of its population, and 0.16% of its GDP. What if Tamil Nadu become a single independent country? The Republic of Tamil Nadu total area would be 130,058 square kilometers, making it the 97th largest country in the world ahead of North Korea but behind Nicaragua. Number of peoples in this country would be 72.1 million. It's higher than United Kingdom and it's making 20th most populated country in the world just behind Germany. Economy of this country would be $346 billion. It is the 45th largest economy in the world ahead of Czech Republic but behind Chile, while GDP per capita would be $3,785. It is the 132nd richest country in the world ahead of Egypt but behind Sri Lanka. Official language of this country would be Tamil and also most spoken language with 72.1 million speakers. The country capital is Chennai and also most populated city with 8.65 million peoples, and followed by Coimbatore with 2.13 million peoples, Madurai with 1.46 million people, and Tiruchirappalli with 1.02 million peoples, and this country have a second most Hinduism country after India with 69.6 million peoples. Also its highest percentage of Hinduism peoples living country in the world with 87% of peoples. This separation will be huge lose for India. India will lose its most industrialized state. Overall India will decrease 3.96% of its land area, 5.59% of its population, and 8.2% of its GDP. What if Telangana become an independent country? The Republic of Telangana area is 112,077 square kilometers, making it the 102nd largest country in the world ahead of Liberia and after Honduras. Number of people in this country would be over 35 million. It's making 42nd most populated country ahead of Malaysia and after Angola, and the country GDP is $190 billion. It is the 57th largest economy after Nigeria, while GDP per capita is $4,191. It's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 126th richest country in the world just behind Morocco. The country capital is Hyderabad, and also most populated city with 7.67 million people, and followed by Varamal with 753,000 people, Nizamabad with 311,000 people, and Karimnagar with 297,000 people, and the country official language would be definitely Telugu language, and also most spoken language with over 35,000 speakers, and 85% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in entire world. At the same time India will lost 3.41% of its land area, 2.80% of its population, and 3.625% of its GDP. What if Tripura become an independent country? The Republic of Tripura land area is 10,491 square kilometers, making it the 161st largest country in the world ahead of Lebanon and after Jamaica. Number of people in this country would be 4.14 million. It is the 127th most populated country ahead of Panama and after Kuwait, and this country density is 350 per square kilometers. It's 3 times lower than India average, and it's making 27th most densely populated country in the world just behind Grenada. Economy of this country would be over $10 billion. It is the 147th largest economy ahead of Togo and after Mauritania, while GDP per capita is $2,128. It's lower than India average, and it's making 151st richest country in the world just behind Solomon Islands. The country capital is Agartala, and also most populated city with over 400,000 people, and followed by Dharmanagar with 40,000 people, Udaipur with 33,000 people, Kailashahar with 22,000 people, Bishalgarh with 21,000 people, Teliamura with over 20,000 people, and Bologna with 19,000 people. The country official language would be definitely Bengali language, and also most spoken language with 3.1 million speakers. At the same time India will drop 0.32% of its land area, 0.31% of its population, and 0.64% of its GDP. What if Uttar Pradesh become a single independent country? The Republic of Uttar Pradesh total area would be 243,286 square kilometers, making it the 79th largest country in the world ahead of Uganda but behind United Kingdom. At the same time this country have a massive population with over 241 million. It's higher than China, India, Russia, United States combined, and it's making 6th most populated country just behind Pakistan, Indonesia, United States, China and India. Economy of this country would be $290 billion. It is the 49th largest economy in the world ahead of Peru but behind Kazakhstan. GDP per capita would be $1,182. It's making 167th richest country ahead of Myanmar and after Uganda. And this country have a 4th poorest country in Asia just behind Myanmar, Yemen and Afghanistan. This country also most populated landlocked country in the world. This country population density is more than 1,000 per square kilometers. It would be its 7th most densely populated country. Hindi is the official language in this country and also most spoken language with 196 million peoples. This country have a 192 million of Hinduism peoples. It's making second most Hinduism country in the world after India. Uttar Pradesh separate from India would be a big disadvantage for Uttar Pradesh. At the same time, if Uttar Pradesh will become a separate country, then Indians will die hungry with food crisis, and borders will lose massive military strength, and India will decrease from 17% of population, 8% of land area, and 7.6% of GDP. What if Uttarakhand become a single independent country? The Republic of Uttarakhand area is 53,483 square kilometers, making it the 125th largest country in the world ahead of Bosnia and Herzegovina and after Croatia. Number of people in this country would be 10.08 million. It is the 94th most populated country ahead of Israel and after Azerbaijan, and the economy of this country is $46 billion. It is the 96th largest economy after Cambodia, while GDP per capita is $3,183. It's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 136th richest country in the world just behind Sri Lanka. The country capital is Dehradun, and also most populated city with 706,000 people, and followed by Haridwar with 310,000 people, Roorkee with 238,000 people, and Haldwani with 232,000 people, and the country official language would be of course Hindi language, and also most spoken language with 7.6 million speakers, and 82% of people in this country followed Hinduism. It would be highest percentage of Hinduism people living country in the world, and finally India will lose 1.6% of its land area, 0.83% of its population, and 0.72% of its GDP. What if West Bengal become an independent country? The West Bengal Republic area is 88,752 square kilometers, making it the 111th largest country in the world ahead of Serbia and after Jordan. Number of people in this country would be 91.3 million. It is the 17th most populated country ahead of Iran and after Vietnam. And this country density is 1030 per square kilometers. It would be 8th most densely populated country in the world. Economy of this country is over $200 billion, which it is 56th largest economy after Qatar, while GDP per capita would be $1,881. It's lower than India average, and it's making 154th richest country in the world just behind Laos. The country capital is Kolkata, and also most populated city with over 14 million people, and followed by Asansol with 1.24 million people, and Siliguri with 705,000 people. And this country most followed religion is Hinduism with 73 million followers, and followed by Islam with 28 million followers, and the country official language would be of course Bengali language, and also most spoken language with 88 million speakers. At the same time, India will lose 2.7% of its land area, 7.2% of its population, and 5.7% of its GDP. What if Andaman and Nicobar Islands become an independent country? The Republic of Andaman and Nicobar Islands total area would be 8,249 square kilometers, making it the 163rd largest country in the world ahead of Palestine but behind Cyprus. Also, this country become a 3rd smallest country in Southeast Asia just behind Brunei and Singapore. Population of this country would be 380,000 people. It's making 172nd most populated country after Iceland. Economy of this country would be $1.2 billion. It is the 12th lowest economy country ahead of St. Kitts and Nevis but behind St. Vincent and the Grenadines, while GDP per capita would be $3,524. It's higher than India average, and it's making 133rd richest country in the world ahead of Honduras but behind Egypt. Also, it's 4th poorest country in Southeast Asia just behind Cambodia, Laos and Myanmar. Port Blair is the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 140,000 peoples. Andaman and Nicobar Islands derive income from various sources including tourism, agriculture, fishing and trade, and tourism is the major source of income for this country, and Bengali is the most spoken language in this country with 28.5% of its population, and followed by Tamil with 15.2%, Telugu with 13.2%, Hindi with 13%, Nicobarese with 7.6%, Malayalam with 7.2%, and other language speakers with 15.3%. This separation will not affect much economically, while India will lose its remote territory. What if Chandigarh become a single independent country? Chandigarh is a city and union territory in northern India, and if Chandigarh become an independent country, it would be 6th smallest country in the world after San Marino with a land area of only 114 square kilometers. Also, this country become a smallest country in entire Asia. Population of this country would be 1.05 million. It's lower than countries like Slovenia, Bahrain and Estonia, and it's making 157th most populated country ahead of Cyprus and after Djibouti, and this country density is 9,262 per square kilometers. It's over 20 times higher than India average, and it's making 2nd most densely populated country in the world just behind Monaco. Economy of this country is over $6 billion. It is the 152nd largest economy ahead of Fiji and after South Sudan, while GDP per capita is $5,445. It's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 114th richest country in the world just behind Tonga. Hinduism is the most followed religion in this country with 850,000 followers, and followed by Sikhism with 140,000 followers, Islam with 50,000 million followers, Christianity with 8,000 followers, Jainism with 2,000 followers, Buddhism with 1,000 followers, and other religions with 2,000 followers. What if Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu become a single country? This new country combined land area would be 603 square kilometers, making it the 17th smallest country in the world after Andorra. Also, this country become a second smallest country in Asia after Maldives. Number of people in this country would be 585,000. It's smaller than countries like Mauritius, Cyprus and Djibouti, and it's making 166th most populated country ahead of Malta and after Suriname. And this country density is 970 per square kilometers. It's 12 times higher than India average, and it's making 8th most densely populated country in the world just behind Bangladesh, and the country GDP would be $1.6 billion. It is the 174th largest economy ahead of Comoros and after Solomon Islands. While GDP per capita is $4,408, it's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 123rd richest country in the world just behind Namibia. Hinduism is the most followed religion in this country with 96.1% of people, and followed by Islam with 2.3% of people, and Christianity with 1.2% of people. What if Delhi become an independent country? The Republic of Delhi area is 1,484 square kilometers, making it the 171st largest country in the world ahead of Sao Tome and Principe and after Comoros. Number of people in this country would be 16.7 million. It's making 73rd most populated country in the world ahead of Zimbabwe and after Ecuador. And this country density is 11,312 per square kilometers. It's 30 times higher than India average, and it's making second most densely populated country after Monaco. Economy of this country would be $130 billion. It is the 62nd largest economy ahead of Dominican Republic and after Slovakia. While GDP per capita is $5,812, it's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 110th richest country in the world just behind Paraguay. And this country have a 57 billionaires. It would be 10th most billionaires living country ahead of United Kingdom but behind Canada. Hinduism is the most followed religion in this country with 81.6% of people, and followed by Islam with 12.86%, Christianity with 0.87%, Sikhism with 0.83%, Jainism with 0.54%, and other religions with 3.22%. And finally, India will lose 0.045% of its land area, 1.39% of its population, and 3.69% of its GDP. What if Jammu and Kashmir become an independent country? The Republic of Jammu and Kashmir area is 42,241 square kilometers, making it the 131st largest country in the world ahead of Netherlands and after Denmark. Number of people in this country would be 12.2 million. It is the 80th most populated country after Haiti. Economy of this country would be $28.8 billion. It is the 110th largest economy ahead of Trinidad and Tobago but behind Bosnia and Herzegovina. While GDP per capita would be $1,971, it's lower than India average, and it's making 153rd richest country in the world just behind Zimbabwe. Srinagar would be the capital of this country, and also most populated city with 1.26 million people, and followed by Jammu with 657,000 people, and Anantnag with 160,000 people. Kashmiri is the most spoken language in this country with 6.8 million speakers, and followed by Dogri with 2.6 million speakers, and Hindi with 2.5 million speakers. So the modern Jammu and Kashmir 3 official languages would be both Kashmiri, Dogri and Urdu, and 68.3% of people in this country followed Islam. It would be 41st highest percentage of Islamic people living country in the world after Kazakhstan. At the same time, India will lose 1.69% of its land area, 0.98% of its population, and 0.80% of its GDP. What if Ladakh become a single independent country? The Republic of Ladakh land area is 59,146 square kilometers, making it the 123rd largest country in the world ahead of Togo and after Latvia. At the same time, this country have a very least population with only 274,000, which is lower than countries like Cyprus, Fiji and Luxembourg, and it's making 174th most populated country ahead of Barbados and after Vanuatu, and this country density is 4.6 per square kilometers. It's over 30 times lower than India average, and it's making 5th least densely populated country after Libya. Economy of this country would be $2.1 billion. It is the 171st largest economy ahead of San Marino but behind Antigua and Barbuda. While GDP per capita would be $4,188, it's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 126th richest country in the world just behind Morocco. Ladakhi is the official language in this country, and also most spoken language with around 150,000 speakers. Buddhism is the largest religion in this country with 126,000 followers, and followed by Islam with 110,000 followers, Hinduism with 90,000 followers, and other religions with 5,000 followers. And finally, India will lose 1.9% of its land area, 0.02% of its population, and 0.1% of its GDP. What if Lakshadweep become a single independent country? Lakshadweep is a union territory of India in the Laccadive Sea, and if Lakshadweep become an independent country, it would be 5th smallest country in the world after Tuvalu with a land area of only 32.62 square kilometers. Also, this country become a smallest country in entire Asia. Population of this country would be 64,473 people. It's making 10th least populated country ahead of Dominica and after St. Kitts and Nevis, and this country density is 1,976 per square kilometers. It's over 30 times higher than India average, and it's making 3rd most densely populated country after Singapore and Monaco, and the economy of this country country is $1.1 billion. It is the 11th least economically country after Samoa. While GDP per capita would be $5,110, it's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 116th richest country in the world ahead of Samoa and after Micronesia. Islam is the most followed religion in this country with 62,300 followers. Also, its 20th highest percentage of Islamic people living country after Libya with 96.6% of people, and followed by Hinduism with 1,800 followers, Christianity with 320 followers, and other religions with only 64 followers. What if Puducherry was a single independent country? Puducherry is a union territory of India consisting of 4 small geographically unconnected districts, and if Puducherry become an independent country, it would be 179th largest country in the world after Seychelles with a land area of only 483 square kilometers. Also, this country become a second smallest country in Asia after Maldives. Population of this country would be 1.39 million, which is lower than countries like Ireland, New Zealand and Georgia, and it's making 151st most populated country ahead of Estonia and after Equatorial Guinea, and this country density is 2,900 people per square kilometer. It's 30 times higher than India average, and it's making 3rd most densely populated country in the world just behind Singapore and Monaco. And the economy of this country is $4.6 billion. It is the 155th largest economy ahead of Sierra Leone and after Liberia. While GDP per capita would be $3,329, it's 2 times higher than India average, and it's making 136th richest country in the world just behind Vanuatu. The country largest religion is Hinduism with 1.1 million followers. The country capital is Puducherry, and also most populated city with 657,000 people, and followed by Karaikal with 98,000 people, Yanam with 55,000 people, and Mahe with 42,000 people. What would happen if India broke into independent countries? India has a total of 28 states, and if all of them become independent countries, the total number of states in Asia will increase from 49 to 77, making Asia would have the most countries of the world. These states have an enormous population. For example, Uttar Pradesh population would be 241 million people. It's making 5th most populated country in the world, and followed by Bihar 11th most populated country and Maharashtra 13th most populated country. Terms of size, Rajasthan become a taking 64th place, and Madhya Pradesh become a 71st place, and followed by Maharashtra become a 72nd place. The economy-wise, Maharashtra will be a number 1 out of the union with GDP is $490 billion. It's making 34th largest economy in the world, and followed by Tamil Nadu 46th largest economy, and Uttar Pradesh 48th largest economy. Goa would be richest country in this union with GDP per capita would be $6,300. It's making 98th richest country in the world, then followed by Sikkim become a 103rd richest country, and Delhi become a 107th richest country. This division will favor some Indian states and disadvantage for some other Indian states. The biggest beneficiary of this division is China. China's biggest opponent in Asia is India. So if India succeeds, China will increase its dominance in Asia.